Okay, so Tom, you and me, we're both very fond of Star Trek.
Yes.
So what brought you to Star Trek?
To be honest, it was on Saturday afternoons. Was either like 12 or 11 o'clock in the morning after cartoons, and then we'd have the Buck Rogers or Battlestar Galactica, and then the afternoon movie, which was usually some god awful B or C film, and
Oh, but I love those.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that
But
was
it
my
was-
Saturday as well.
And I think that I probably only saw a third, maybe half of the episodes because they would play the same ones over and over.
Well, yeah.
It was always fun when there was one I hadn't seen. But there were two. No. The one where Kirk's brother dies, Bats.
Yeah.
The vomit.
Yeah.
Flying vomit. Or spaghetti monster, or whatever you want to call it. I saw that one. And I was like, oh, I've never seen this one. And it was kind of weird. And I was like, all right. But until they did the top 10 right before, TNG was on. But right before, I think, Best of Both Worlds. Or no, it was the 25th anniversary. Something like that. It had something to do with something like that.
It had to have been the 20th.
20.
Because TNG had
Ended,
had
yeah.
hit by the time the
All right,
25th
all right,
anniversary.
all right, nerd,
That's okay.
nerd.
It's okay. Because it was like 87 and 85 was the 20th.
So, no, it had to be the 25th.
Yeah, I went to 20th anniversary big
we're
convention,
gonna talk,
which we'll
that's a
talk
whole-
about. But
yeah. It had to be the 25th because Riker had his beard, and he was host the top 10 original Star Trek episodes, or the top 5, or I don't know. It was a whole day thing, and that was the first time I had seen Space Seed. Now, I had seen Wrath of Khan
right.
on TV tons of times, and I had seen most of the others on TV. I did take my dad to go see Star Trek 6
Huh? Nice.
in the old Cinema 5.
Nice.
So it was just, and I didn't, toys. Nah, there weren't any toys, and I don't think I would have played with toys like I played with Star Wars toys if I had Star Trek toys, because it was more of
Well, it's a different
a different feel,
vibe.
different
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah,
It's very different. Yeah.
it wasn't kinetic. They talk about toy kinetic.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was definitely not. It was I hate to say it because it's some of it's kind of dated, the TOS, but Spock's brain is very prescient, and I didn't realize till I actually got the collection, the DVD collection, all 3 seasons, and watched every single episode in order. And Spock's brain is not the worst episode. Believe me.
It's among them,
No,
but it's not
but there's
the worst.
there's
no.
Mira. There's and the children shall lead.
Oh, God. And the children shall lead.
And then the one with the gal who was they took the outfits from the pilot and rechanged them, and then they changed the tooling on the heads.
Yeah.
She was an empath or something,
Yes.
and Kirk had to get his shirt ripped off or
Okay,
something.
a
And
little piece of useless trivia for you. The gal that played the empath in that was in my mother's soap opera, As the World Turns.
Yes, yeah. I actually knew that. That's
Oh,
yeah,
there you
it's
go.
terrible.
Okay, my mind is a wealth of useless
Yeah.
information. So anyway,
And so it was Star Trek. It was something you always watched, and then
Okay, see-
TNG came on, and I was like, okay. I think the best episode I saw of TNG. I mean, I'd watch it because it was Star Trek, but it wasn't like I got to sit down and watch it. Whatever. If it was on, it was on. If it wasn't, it wasn't. But I was in the hospital getting my appendix out, and Conspiracy was on. It was the new episode.
mm-hmm.
And oh geez, that was quite the thing. That episode,
Oh,
especially
no.
with the head blown up,
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, wow. And then I kind of got more into it, like watching it every week. And then, and I didn't, and things were very different. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have actors and actresses talking about their political views. So I didn't know shit from Shinola. These were just the people on the show. I don't really think we watched interviews or anything or stuff like that. And
No,
then-
if you wanted to see something like that, you'd have to go to a convention and
Yeah.
see a live appearance with some of them.
And
Because it just wasn't out there like it is today. And really, the week to week, you had to catch it week to week,
or you just had to wait till
or you had to
reruns.
wait for a rerun, or set your VCR,
Yeah.
which I did pretty regularly.
And then Deep Space Nine was interesting because
I got a story about that too, but go ahead.
we watched the premiere, the 2-hour premiere, and I liked it. I guess because it was connected to Best of Both Worlds, which
Oh, the DS9 premiere, the pilot,
the pilot.
was the best one of all the series
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down, no contest.
Absolutely.
It was the best premiere.
Yes.
It was awesome. And then of
I
course,
stuck religiously with that, and it just kept paying off. In
oh no,
dividends.
DS9 was
yes.
way good, and
then
I
Voyager,
was not looking forward to it. I really wasn't, because it didn't seem to me like it was Star Trek. How are you going to do Star Trek on a
space station.
on a stationary space station? You know, Star Trek
Well,
is
it's
all
not
about
stationary.
these are the voyages.
It's not stationary because it's always moving, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
but still,
yeah,
station, not a.
I
you know,
know. I'm
these
just
are the
messing with you.
voyages, and so
you got hung
I
up.
had my doubts on it,
You were like, oh,
and I was
motherfucker.
really,
Yeah.
I was proven wrong. It was really a good show.
Right?
I dug
and
it.
then when Voyager rolled around, it was on UPN, and I was like, we don't get those channels. I don't really care. I'm not like super excited about it. It didn't look interesting. It was the gal from Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Why is she on Star Trek?
But
And I didn't really care other past that. And then I just would watch it occasionally.
It was kind of like a Star Trek meets Lost in Space,
and not done well.
which I didn't dig. But you know what? I couldn't help it. I dug the cast. I dug the characters. I dug all the
Oh, Neelix was great, and the Doctor.
I mean,
and it's sad because
no, and Tuvok and
hold
even
on.
Chakotay, all of them.
Yeah, but
I
it's
really dug the characters.
it's really sad because
And in a
now
different
you-
setting, it would have been a really cool show.
because now you know, because of Twitter and Facebook and all this other jazz, I have to know about these actors' political beliefs. I don't. That's not why I'm.
Yeah, but that.
No. It is a point because I'm not interested. If I wanted to know your political opinion, I would ask you. And you're an actor. You're supposed to. You're the song and dance person. You're not. You know, you can have your opinion.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I don't want to hear it.
It just. What it comes down to is whether or not they let it spill over into their work.
And
And
all these people have, and it gets bad because I think Robert Picardo is great, but I don't need to hear his rants about whatever. I don't care because it's just not. It's not why I was watching.
he's a person with his own personal views and things.
That's
and
fine.
You can separate that from his work. And you just
because
have to.
Patrick Stewart is doing the same thing. He thought Roman Polanski should get his Oscar and be allowed to come in, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. No. That's not a. It's okay, because what the powers that be in Hollywood say it's all right to be a kid diddler. Well, I guess so, but
Yeah, but then look at what happened to Kevin Spacey. So
yeah.
Anyway, I don't understand all that. I've never been a part of that scene. I've just been a fan of the show myself.
But unfortunately, stuff like that bleeds into the shows.
Well,
The watching, trying to enjoy the show, because I can't watch
It
Next
does-
Generation anymore because of Picard.
It does impact your
Enjoyability of a show.
No, I get that. But I don't know. For me, I'm a little older than you, so I started watching Star Trek when it
In the 1970s.
came back into syndicated reruns in like 1972.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. I know distinctly that I've been watching it since the second grade, because I got up in front of class on a share day one day. Everybody had something to share, and I didn't have anything to share, but I had just seen the Journey to Babel the night before, and they were all in their dress uniforms, and McCoy was asking Spock to show him the Vulcan hand salute, and which he did, and McCoy did it, and he was struggled with it, and he made some comment that it was more uncomfortable than the uniform.
Wow.
Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
I was only 7, 8 years old.
You didn't know you were a racist then, huh?
And I shared that moment
with class.
with the class, because I was too young to realize that kind of nerdly shit was not cool. And it wasn't long after that I learned to keep it to myself. But no, I did. I shared a Star Trek story with the second grade class. So I know I've been watching it that long.
They all looked at you like you were a weirdo, huh?
A few of them did. I mean, we were all in second grade. It was not until later that it became the issue that it was not cool to be a nerd in the 70s in Jamestown, California, where I grew up.
Ooh.
Anyway, and I learned to keep it to myself, but I still watched it.
So you were a closet fan. You were a closet fan.
Well, it was a defense mechanism. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't closeted. I mean, anybody asked me, yeah, I watched Star Trek, but I was the only one I knew who actually watched Star Trek. It wasn't like I had a couple of buddies to watch it with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was my thing that I was into. I'd watch it.
Well, see, at least my family watched it with me.
And, the folks, they watched it when it was in its first run.
Yeah.
Anyway, so no, Star Trek for me was pretty much all there was for many years until we finally got things like Star Wars. I mean, I remember a world before Star Wars, yes. And I remember the Star Wars mania that I got all caught up in. I did. But I was also caught up in the Trek mania that preceded it by a couple of years when, conventions started happening, and I watched the animated series on Saturday morning when it hit, and I had read The Making of Star Trek, the book itself, the story of how it was pitched and got produced, and even had a complete text of the original screenplay for The Cage, the original pilot.
All right, I can out-nerd you. I have the original screenplay that won the Nova for City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have that book.
You can bite me. But but no, that's how into Star Trek I was. I was into it. I had model kits of all the, I had the bridge one, I had the Enterprise, I had the only one I really never had when I was a kid was a Klingon battle cruiser. I always wanted one of those, and I don't know why I never got one, but I had the Romulan bird of prey, and I had, the
D5 Klingon battle cruiser.
At least, the D7. And I had at least a couple of different Enterprises over the years.
Different scales.
Yeah, in different releases.
Yeah, and all that.
Yeah. Some of them with the clear green pieces for the top and bottom of the saucer section for the bridge.
Yes.
And then later they came out with the clear pieces. They weren't clear green; they were just clear.
Oh.
So no, I've had many of those, and so no, I was always into Star Trek, and like I was saying, I went to the 20th anniversary convention
that's a whole other discussion.
in '85, and at that time, Gene Roddenberry was there, and he showed us the only known existing copy that was complete of the original pilot in black and white on a 16 millimeter projector, on a screen, and that was before the intact color copy surfaced that came out to home video. But at the time, the only intact copy was a black and white, and Gene Roddenberry hit the switch and showed it to us at that convention. It was really cool, and it was the first time I'd ever seen all of it in because all of the scenes that were cut from it for the menagerie were
colorized.
It was presumed that destroyed the only color copy they had.
Oh, okay.
They thought it was the only color copy, and it was years later that another intact color copy surfaced. But that was why he was showing us a black and white, was because the color copy had been cut up for the Menagerie two-parter. Anyway, and we got a sneak peek at the next gen at that convention because it was coming up.
So did you like the man skirt in season 1? TNG.
I did.
You did.
I honestly, I did.
Was this equality, or was this just because he had nice legs? I'm just asking.
A bit of both.
Okay.
No, but I thought that so yeah, if a dude wanted to wear one of those miniskirt uniforms, why not? in the far-flung future, and nobody cared because it wasn't like a gender specific or whatever, blah blah, and it didn't mean didn't come across to me like, oh, we got drag queens in the future in Starfleet. No, and I was glad that they didn't feature them like very prominently, but just to indicate that, yeah.
I think like the first 6 episodes, you see somebody.
Right, but then,
then it
none after that.
Yeah.
But it was just enough to indicate that if a dude wanted to wear that, it was okay. So what? Star Trek has made me probably the most open-minded and tolerant person you will ever meet. So I'm good with some shit that would blow your mind. That being said, I'm not good with some shit either, as far as there's a line and there's standards, but I am a very open-minded, tolerant person, and
unlike myself,
I'm cool
apparently.
about just about anything. Plus, I spent most of my life as a theater actor, and I've been around just about all walks of life, and so that's just me. But no, Star Trek did shape my attitude about a lot of things, because I was a very impressionable child, for one. I believe almost anything anybody tell me. So I see this future where all these people are, this
utopia.
Not just multicolored, but like even the white people. Chekhov was Russian from Russia. Scotty was Scottish from Scotland, and Uhura was not just African American. She was African from Africa, and they all worked together, all respected each other, and were all, whatever in their field. And I bought into that shit big time.
But it was all
Plus,
right.
it was the 70s, mid-70s. We were just bouncing back from the civil rights movement, and all
But
that was still a thing. And then there was the women's lib movement in the 70s, and all the equality, and I bought into all that shit, man.
But it was all right to be racist towards Vulcans and Romulan.
Well, yeah, because they're not human.
Ooh. Wow.
No, it wasn't, because Kirk dressed his officer down for that.
The helmsman,
There's
yes.
no place for your bigotry on my bridge.
So why was it all right for McCoy? I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
Well, because McCoy was a Southern from Georgia, man. It was in his blood. He couldn't help it.
Southerns are racist. Wow. Is it because they're Democrats? Potato?
Well, I
Or
wouldn't-
because it was the character,
Yeah,
and we
no.
just need to let that shit go.
Yeah, and in McCoy's case, it wasn't as mean-spirited as all that. It was just, it was...
So you think that McCoy, and I'm not trying to be like Mike Wallace or anything, but so you think McCoy actually not only respected Spock, but wanted to crack him out of his cold shell and like see if he could friends with him?
Oh, yeah, in many ways, yeah.
Yeah.
And when he made those green-blooded digs at Spock, it was different.
So you don't think
There's
so? Because
it
the
is
new
a fine line, but it was different because they had a different dynamic in that,
So the perception now is that McCoy's a racist because the way he talked to Spock and blah blah blah, and he was a white male and blah blah blah. So you don't see it that way. I never saw it that way. I thought they were more friendly than they ever, maybe except for All Our Yesterdays when Spock got primitive, primeval.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on. If you're going to deal with McCoy, or what was her name? What was the gal's name?
Oh,
Zarabeth?
yeah.
But the actress.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'd rather not want to deal with McCoy's bullshit either.
And again, it's human nature. It's a look at the human condition. There is going to be that in the future. It's not just 100% gone. And especially, I mean, I don't mean to stereotype Southerners, but there is that is a thing, the South and their attitude about race in general. I'm just generalizing. Please don't take it wrong. I'm just saying it because it's true.
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Comments.
And if you do, please be civil and
Excoriate him in a professional manner.
But no, it was not that out of line for McCoy to be a little bit on the
Irascible.
Yeah, I mean, he was just, again.
But then what I love is like in the motion picture, he gets beamed up and he's in his fucking disco outfit with his beard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God
And his,
damn.
and his
yeah.
gold chains.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, geez.
Looked like he just came out of the roller disco.
He's getting down with the funk. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know, he's a single man and a southern gentleman. I'm sure he got plenty of tail.
And we do know this because Dax is host at
Even
the time.
Dax. Yeah. At the hands of a surgeon. So, yeah, I gotta love Dr. McCoy, man. You gotta love him. Anyway,
So,
no, but
this-
I mean, for me, like I say, man, I've been watching it for all my life. And I remember even rediscovering it in my young adulthood when I moved out of the house and was living on my own, and Star Trek was on in like 11 o'clock at night. And
Love that. Oh.
and I had, you know, looked at it with a whole different perspective because I hadn't really actively been watching it through most of my teen years because I was into other things, Star Wars and the Wrath of Khan and the movies and all the other things that were going on, and then just like sitting in my own apartment all by myself and rediscovering Star Trek as a young adult. I just love that shit, man. I can't help it. TOS all the way, and Next Gen 2 and DS9, all of them